Hey, what's going on everyone? 18.3 is a wrap. Hopefully this video is going out on the last day you guys can submit your scores. So there's a few movements that everyone's worried about that might be coming up next, and one of those is deadlifts. So if you're one of those people where deadlifts cause pain, we're going to talk about different ways to work on your deadlift or how to build up and warm up so we're using the right muscles. Because a lot of times it's not that we're necessarily, how do I put this? It's not that we're bad at deadlifts, we have a tendency to compensate and use the wrong muscles for it. I know that sounds weird, because a lot of times thinking about good and bad is it being able to pick the weight off the floor. It's not just about picking the weight up the floor, it's about using the right muscles. So you can use that for anything, even toes to the bar. A lot of people don't use the right muscle or right technique to get toes to the bar because their number one goal is just to get their feet to the bar. Usually when we deadlift, people just think about, I need to lift this bar up, and sometimes our body is able to adapt and do things that are unbelievable that for some of us would put us in pain immediately, some people the next day, but they're still able to lift that bar. So what we usually see in the world of CrossFit, maybe yourself, is if we have a hard time or we have a tendency to get pain, we build the bar up from the ground up. So we might put the bar on some weight plates so we're not going all the way down to the ground if we're tight in our hamstrings. If I try to touch my toes, if it's not quite there, maybe we'll lift up that bar. I'm going to have you do it a little bit differently. We're going to start with the bar and the rack, okay? Some of you have probably done Romanian deadlifts before, things of that nature. So we're going to start here. And the reason being, it's a lot easier to learn how to engage and get the right muscles moving from this position than it is hunched over at the bottom of that deadlift, trying to find our hamstrings, trying to find our heels. All right? So I'm going to start with the bar in the rack, just a little bit below where I can get a full grip on it. I'm going to brace here. So I'm actually going to brace before I stand. I'm going to squeeze my butt, squeeze my abs, breathe into that chamber. Small deadlift, step back, just a couple steps, re-engage, so I'm breathing into that steel chamber. I'm gonna go hips back, wiggle my toes to find my hamstrings and my glutes. And now right here, if I can't feel my hamstrings, I'm gonna stand up. I'm gonna slowly build this, all right? We can build it up with weight, we can build it up with range of motion to try and teach our body to use those hamstrings or posterior chain a lot more than instead of quads and all spinal erectors. Now another way we can play with this is we can set up a rig, something like this. We can get rid of these J-cups, and we can set up this bar so it's right next to the rig. Now I shouldn't press into the rig, right? I should be able to go hips back, see how the bar actually moved away, all the way down the mid shin. I can wiggle my toes down here. If I have a tendency to go quads, you're gonna see that happen. So that's a nice little easy self cue to get you going on deadlifts. So again, just to recap, if you're someone where your back hurts or deadlifts are just tough on you, instead of learning how to go from the ground up, let's warm up from the top down. Let's get those muscles firing in the right order. Let's learn how to get into those hamstrings and glutes so we know what it feels like at the bottom of the deadlift instead of all quad and spinal erector. I really hope deadlifts pop up. They're one of my favorite movements. I love lifting heavy weight off the ground. Let me know if this helps you guys. Share, comment below. Hope to talk to you soon.